Welcome to a free-for-all, I guess. This episode, this game was on my stream that I did Sunday. So if you want to see it, you want to see the full video of my perspective of everything, you can go ahead and look at the stream. But this was a primitive-only fight, which I got a bunch of my fans to come on. And basically play free for all, except this is a private match, and this is only Stone Age only primitive. And let me tell you something. Not many people know how to do this, but it is incredibly fun to do. Primitive only is incredibly fun. It just is, like, because you don't have to worry about upgrades. You don't have to worry about workers or stuff like, or I'm sorry, you do have to worry about workers, but you don't have to worry about having, specific units. Like, okay, I need like onager, I need siege equipment, I need siege units, so I need some onagers, or I need some cavalry to go after his workers, etc. No, none of that isn't primitive in Stone Age. And it really makes you, when you do primitive only, it really makes you think, because one, you're limited on food. You don't need metal, so that's good. You don't need metal. Two, you're limited on food, and three, what you have is what you have. You only have 3 units. You don't have to worry about upgrades too much. Once you get all the upgrades, like, you don't have to worry about them anymore. But yeah. But anyways, this video, I'm going to teach you guys on how to fight in primitive only. Now, you probably will never see a game where everyone specifically goes primitives unless you specifically said it. Because, this is a private match, double population, with also double the wild animals. So if you can see on the map, you see all these little white specks? Those are all wild animals, like, boars, mammoths. Again, I doubled the amount of wild animals. And there is a reason for it. And so before I get to that, I'm going to teach you guys on how to fight in primitive only. So the first thing you should do is, get your standard stuff. Get a lot of houses, get some fight pits, stone cutters, you basically need every single structure in primitive. After that, you need to start hunting. Because the food you have here, your berry bushes, that's all you're going to get until you start hunting for food. Let me say, okay, so get some cows and stuff. Get some cows. You see there's some wild animals here, so a lot of boars. But basically you need to start hunting for food. Like, literally hunting. So slingers are the best thing to go do for this. So because slingers have, the range and capabilities to do it. So they are like the best hunters, and plus they also have high damage. So yeah. You also need to take some workers with you whenever you hunt, so that way you can build some warehouses and let you know, like, hey, the food's here. As you see, there's mammoths here. A lot of mammoths. A little too many wild animals. But anyways, after you get, your food situation, basically sorted, like in the beginning. Again, in the beginning, you have to, like, wait. You cannot stone warrior rush in primitive only. And let me rephrase that. You can, and you can probably take out your opponent pretty easy. But if you fail that stone warrior rush, you lost. It does not matter how many workers you kill in primitive. I'm going to tell you this right now. Killing workers means nothing. Killing food workers, okay, maybe it means something. Maybe they're out in the open. But killing workers means literally nothing. Unless you're constantly putting pressure on that person. Then killing workers means something. But if you even held back for a second, you're done. Because it only takes 9 seconds to make a worker. And maybe if you maybe you're going to see something soon about why killing workers still, technically does matter in a way. But killing workers means basically, again, like I said, killing workers means basically nothing. But anyways, so after you get, you get a nice army right here. You get a nice army. You didn't want to worry about defenses. So your walls are your houses, not your warehouses, not your fight pit. I guess you can use anything fight pits, but not those. Your houses are your walls. That is it. Your houses are your walls. Then you need to line it with bulwarks. And you want to surround your altar first with bulwarks, obviously, because your altar is your temple in this situation, and it can be destroyed relatively easy. But you then want to create your fight pit here, your fight pits. You want a few fight pits. You want to start with 3, but you do want to build a lot more. And then you want to also be semi-nomadic. Now, what is semi-nomadic? Basically, is when you take a bunch of workers. You have a bunch of workers. Then you have to move them accordingly. So you have to move them far away from your altar, essentially, and you need to keep pushing out and basically keep creating little villages. Now, this is what we're to say. You have to create little villages. So basically, in a way, this is your tribe. This is your tribe, and then these are the clans. Because basically, the way a tribe forms is through a series of villages and clans that all decide to unite. And that is what a tribe is. It's not like, everyone just agrees, okay, yeah, we're all in the same tribe. No, it is a series of villages and clans that all form to form a single tribe. But yeah, right here, we're going to get into a little bit of combat. Because Bray decided to attack me. And when he just didn't notice at first. But he comes over here. And he attacks me. Now, when it comes to fighting a primitive, you usually want to use a lot of slingers. But you do want a few warriors to chase down and also to act as a form of buffer. Like a form of meat shield, essentially. Fodder. Yeah, that's it. You need to make stone warriors to act as a form of fodder. Because slingers are weak against stone warriors if they can get into melee range. As you saw, I just immediately just butchered them. We don't want to make too many stone warriors. You mainly want to rely on slingers to fight battles. Macemen, okay, you don't want to use macemen either to fight. In pitched battles like this, an open pitched battles like this, you don't want to do that. But anyways, like I was saying before, to be semi-nomadic, you have to go out and you need to constantly build more and more, and you need to kind of a line formation. It's like lines and lines. So we're gonna show you. I'm gonna show you this right now. So you see, we have the main village. This is the main village, and then you have right here, which is the outer the second line of villages. Like you have a village here, and then you have a village here with your fight pits and bulwarks. And then your, more warehouses to defend, to gather food. And you have to think of it as kind of like a tributary system. So when fighting a primitive, think of the situation you're in as a form of a form of vassalization and tributaries. So when you are expanding, you have to make a bunch of these you see right here, houses and villages, and you have to make yourself think, imagine, this is a whole new village, and they're paying tribute to the main village with food and wood. Because, again, you're not, it's not like a... It's like a real tribe. You're not... Because real tribes, they didn't pay their chieftains in, coinage or something like that. Rather, they paid in stuff like food, food, weapons, things that are crafted. So stuff like that. That's basically what you want to think of it like. And defense, and in return, you have to the main village protects you by giving warriors. Yeah, right here, Bray attacks me again. I wasn't paying attention. And he comes to attack again. Again, Bray is smart because he has a bunch of slingers. But luckily, however, I had a area here with a bunch of defenses. Now, something I learned too is slingers can't attack bulwarks. That is what I learned. Slingers can't attack bulwarks. So having a bunch of bulwarks is really good. But yeah. So right after you do that, so right after you see I'm fighting here, we're just gonna skip time a little bit. See fighting. I see I lose a fight because I didn't have enough units. Whereas Bray had a lot more slingers, and he completely surrounded my my units which were wounded. Some of them were wounded. But anyways, I started building here. You want to keep making fight pits because while fight on the front lines, because while fight pits can produce troops really fast, they have to walk the distance. They have to walk that huge distance, and you can't you can mass them up, but it takes them way too long, especially in this type of situation where you don't have cavalry. So the cavalry are so basically your stone warriors are your cavalry in a way because they're the only ones that can go fast. Yeah, right here, you see, he's not attacking the bulwarks because the slingers can't attack bulwarks. I don't understand the purpose, but okay. Anyways, so you also want to keep pumping out workers. Oh, sorry, rephrase that. You don't want to keep pumping out workers. You need 40 workers total. You always need at least 40 workers. And you need to constantly expand out and gather food. So whenever you can, make sure you kill as many deer as possible. Let your slingers kill the deer and any wild animals you can, because you constantly need the food. You constantly expand out and gather food. Right here, I see lots and lots of food everywhere. But yeah, what do you do for territory and vision though? Oh, we're also gonna look at Mongol get absolutely slapped over here. So what do you do for territory and vision? So what do you do in that situation? Well, the way I figured out how to do it is to make bulwarks in a line formation. Like you see right here, there's lines of bulwarks, and we're gonna see right here soon. And see, I made a bunch of bulwarks here, and I was making them into a line, like an emergency line. But right here also, again, right here, line of bulwarks, and you want to keep doing that when you push. So whenever you're planning on attacking, you want to expand your territory by using basically line formations of bulwarks. Now, these bulwarks are not meant to hold. So when you're attacking, when you're defending or attacking, these are basically your alarm systems in a way. That is basically what they're like. These bulwarks are basically a massive alarm system that says, "Hey, the enemy's over here," because it gives you the vision to see. And we're gonna quickly look at this. So we're just gonna do Fog of War. If Fog of War will work and not crash my game. There we go. There we go. So this is what I see. So when I was playing, this is what I see. This is what I see. I see where he's attacking again in some of the Lost Slingers. And I accidentally keep using my workers to fight. You gotta be careful with that, because sometimes they, camouflage in. Yeah, I had a bunch of stone warriors being produced, which was such a bad idea. They died so fast. But yeah, right here I made it a little a massive village. So this is an outer this is another main village. That is used. And basically, if you saw something right here, he killed a bunch of my workers. And I'm gonna say this right now, that didn't matter because I still have 40 workers. Again, killing workers does not matter. It might slow you down by buildings, but again, when you're playing in primitive only, you're going to have workers on the front lines because workers need to gather food, and the only way to gather food is for them to push. So the workers need to keep pushing forward. So you're going to always have workers on the front lines, and you're always going to have to keep producing workers. Producing scouts doesn't matter in primitive. Well, it kind of does. In a way it does. But yeah. As you see right here, this is my new main little base here. Main fight area, production area. And basically, yeah, that is basically what we're doing. That is basically what I'm doing. Is you have to keep expanding forward. So we're just going to look in this vision for a little bit more. Right here, for when it comes to attacking Bray, I took a bunch of stone warriors aside. Because flanking still works, guys. Flanking still works. As you can see, I took a bunch of stone warriors and killed all his workers. Now, destroying houses does matter, in a way. Again, they can easily be rebuilt. Most stuff in primitive can easily be rebuilt, so it really doesn't matter. Honestly, the only main structures you have to worry about is the fight pit and the stonecutter and the fight pit. Those are the two main structures that are important. They really are. Those are the two main structures that are incredibly important and can basically win you the fight if they're destroyed. Because as long as you can keep destroying them, they can't produce troops, and thus it makes it easier to kill them. To end the enemy. So right here again, I keep my forces here. I start getting more workers in the front lines, and I start again building another line of bulwarks. You see, there's another line of bulwarks here. So again, it pushes my vision, pushes my, production, and pushes the safety as well. Again, I also flank him from the sides. As you see, I killed all of his food workers. I killed all of his wood workers. And right here, this is when food actually does matter, because when you kill the entire production, then it hurts you. Then it hurts. And Bray actually doesn't produce. Yeah, he's not producing any more workers, is he? Yeah, he still has a few. He still has quite a few workers over here as he's gathering food. But right here, this is the problem. Right here, this was the problem, Bray, that you had. You kept doing that. So he was gathering food, but you weren't. But they were all like huddled up. But anyways, so after this, I decided to go. I took some wars around, went after his altar. So flanking still does work, guys. Flanking really does still work. But yeah, after the Bray was killed, basically that then solidified my position in the east. Yeah, so after that, you see right here, I get quite a scare. But anyways, so this is why having line formations also matters. So as you see, line formations of bulwarks matters. It really does matter. And you're going to see in about 10 seconds as to why. So we're just going to look right here. You see, I see nothing except this right here. I see it's quite far away from my bulwarks are quite far away. They're away from my main base. I got line formation. So basically, it's an alert system. So we're gonna skip time. Right there, the deer start running, and then the macemen come in, and they start destroying a lot of crap. And this is why having line formations of bulwark is important, guys, because it alerted me to that. And I got so scared. Because they were doing... Macemen do a lot of damage to structures. And I got so freaking scared. And see right here. And this is why also having surrounding your stuff with bulwarks also matters. You see right here. He decimated my front lines. And I don't know why it's still showing the house. But this is what it looked like right here. And this is why your house walls are important too. Houses are your walls, and bulwarks are your alert system. But yeah. So something you're also notice too is my food and my wood situation. You always want to have workers gathering wood because you can run out of wood really quick, because a lot of stuff you build will require wood. You're going to be building a lot. But food right here, you should always have around like 30 workers on gathering food, and around 15 right here. So you have 26 on food, 14 on wood, and then yeah, the rest of the workers over here were also gathering food. I'm sorry, wood. But yeah, one thing you should also know is that when making line formations of these bulwarks, make sure you also kill any deer that are running around. As you see, I killed a bunch of deer with these bulwarks. Not just the slingers that were, wandering around, but the bulwarks especially. Because as you expand with workers, they're going to need to do something. They can't just stand there doing nothing. So actually, one of the good things you could do is make the bulwarks, like the lines of bulwarks, shoot wild animals, shoot deer that come into your range. And then of course kill them, and you can tell the workers to come back and then to gather the food, because deer give about 400 food, and a warrior is worth around 50 food, and slingers also worth 50 food. So that's what. So around 8 units right there. That's 8 workers. But yeah. So we're going to talk about this a little bit. So, Sergio made a lot of bulwarks, a lot more than he was supposed to. And this is something you don't want to do this for 2 specific reasons. One is the fact that it's a lot of resources wasted. And while it does basically guarantee your safety in a way, how should I say this? You still need to expand out to get food. So again, that's why expanding out in line formations is also important, because you need to expand out and get food. And the only way to get food is to expand out, and workers are going to be left by themselves. So you also, okay. When it comes to workers, you also want to make sure that your workers are always, like spread out in a way. So you always want to have some workers over here. I see I have 4 workers here. I had 4 workers over here. I had 7 workers over here gathering food. Another 6 here gathering food. So yeah, another 2 here. So you want to like always get more workers. You always want more warriors, but always have a stable supply of workers, and make sure they're spread out. Don't keep all your workers in one area, because even if, like, let's see, Bray came over here with slingers and killed all my workers over here, all my workers over here will still gather food, and so I'm never hurting on food. Again, that is one thing that is different about fighting in primitive, is the fact you can spread out as much as you want and still maintain a good economy. And actually spreading out, like pushing out, is actually a way to make sure you have a good economy. Now, this is also a really good example. What happens when you need to siege an opponent? What does sieging an opponent in primitive mean? Well, that is basically when, as you see in this situation, Sergio got a bunch of bulwarks, despite not having the supplies to... Despite not having more and more food, because he's still hurting on food. He still has fish and boars and stuff, but yeah, he's not doing, like, once that runs out, he runs out. Whereas I can keep expanding out, so I'm keeping expanding out. So what do you gotta do in a siege? Well, first you need to make a bunch of bulwarks to line them around, and you only want to make one. You don't want to like make lines of bulwarks, because even if he breaks out, at least you'll know he broke out. So again, you have to make a line of bulwarks, so lining bulwarks is important. And then you just want to keep hitting certain points. And this is where macement also comes into play. So this is a really good demonstration, because this is where macement also comes into play. So you get a bunch of macement and slingers. You don't actually want slingers in this situation, however, because he has a bunch of slingers, then you want slingers. But then you need to constantly like push forward. So you need to constantly launch constant raids at your opponent. And you see right here, constant raids. And he somehow knew... Okay, this is what I don't get. He somehow knew where my freaking units are, because he put all his slingers here. And I know I attacked here because I was trying to draw him in, but I guess he kind of figured that. But anyways, I just started pushing through with my macemen, and just, you just gotta keep going. And it doesn't matter if all your macemen die, you just gotta like keep going forward. You make more units. As you see right here, he tries to push to it again. This is why making a bunch of bulwarks is important because, and especially in a siege, because then it provides you it provides extra firepower when you're producing more troops. And you also so one thing else to do is when sieging, make sure you make a lot of fight pits because you need that constant supply of units. Like you need lots of units really fast. Again, you want to push it forward as much as you can. Again, you just want to keep pushing forward, and you want to make a break point. As you see right here, I was testing his defenses, trying to find like a break point. And what I mean as a break point is an area which I can flow through without having to worry. So right here is what I formed. So I start breaking. I get a huge amount of macemen, only macemen. And then I made a break point right here. All of this right here. And then you want to make immediately bulwark in those areas to prevent your opponent from building more fight pits and bulwarks into these areas. And you just want to keep pushing. You need to mass up your units. Again, this is why making more fight pits, a lot of fight pits is important. You need to mass up your units. Then send them in. And in this situation, I didn't have to worry about him producing more troops because he was so limited on food. Actually, we're gonna take a look. Yeah, he has 0 food. So you see, he has a lot of wood, but he's building a bunch of houses to try and like basically make walls essentially. Like he's doing good because he's making a lot of using houses to make walls. Unfortunately, he has no food to make workers. And the workers he has right here, he has 16 workers, and that's all he has. He only has 16 workers. So I'm just going to slowly push through it. It took me a long time to break through this. I see right here, again, again, and again, and again. Again, I keep massing up my units and throwing them at him. His altar's over here too. All of this stuff is right here. Again, you just have to keep pushing. You keep putting pressure, especially when you know your opponent is stuck in a corner. Just keep putting pressure on them, because that's the only way That's the only way you're going to be able to break. You're going to be able to break your opponent. Anyways, so right here. So before I get into this, actually, we're just resume time and look at this. So as you see my base right here, you see once you look at the mini map, look how many lines of bulwarks. All these lines are all bulwarks, and this is why it's important to have a bunch of bulwarks in line formation on the outskirts of your territory, of your tribe's territory. In 3, 2, 1. Right here. Asaracool made a bunch of stone warriors. Now, he only made stone warriors. Now, I don't know why, but yeah. Actually, I don't know where his workers are. Oh, wait, I forgot. They're over here, aren't they? Actually, I don't know. Where did his workers go? Oh, well. Anyways, Asaracool had a bunch of stone warriors, and I knew he did. I knew he did. I knew he was going to. Because he was waiting way too long. Like, he was just sitting there waiting for way too long. But yeah. He sends all stone warriors to go after my temple. And I knew he would, so don't worry. So before you guys wonder, I knew he would do that. Because he took way too long to attack, and no one was attacking him. And again, this is why lines of bulwarks is important, because they're constantly firing on him right here. They're constantly firing. And this is also why make sure your altar is defended. As you see, I'm throwing everything I had at just trying to fend off. I made a whole bunch more bulwarks. He comes in. This is why your altar should be the most heavily defended location. he's trying to break through, but he can't. Because you have to make sure you have internal workers constantly making bulwarks. And make sure they're constantly repairing those bulwarks. And you see right here, his warriors are basically just gone. He tries and manages not to do a single thing to me. And that was it. And he quit after that. Because I guess he just gave up. But yeah, after that, I decided to finish off Cersio. And it was fun. I really like primitive maps. Unfortunately, nobody knows how to fight primitive maps. And I was hoping that maybe this video would help some of you guys learn on how to fight primitive. Now, I guess I wasn't the best at explaining the game, how to fight in primitive. But you do want to learn how to fight in primitive just for fun. Like, if you want like an all tribes kind of situation, it's for fun. Now, again, the top 3 things you gotta learn is make sure you make lines of bulwarks, lines of houses, like there's walls. Your altar should be heavily defended with like layers and layers of bulwarks and houses, and then you should make outposts whenever you attack. And you need to keep expanding outwards. Keep expanding. If you stop expanding, you will lose out of pure resource necessity. Resources are your big thing, and while killing groups of workers won't matter, if you can keep your opponent locked inside an area for long enough, then it will matter to go after the workers. But yeah, there is no way for me ever to like not know that opponent was around me. Again, this is what I see. We're gonna look at it then. This is what I see. This is my vision. Again, it's kind of like having when building this many bulwarks, it's kind of like having when you have a map, or I'm sorry, when you have like all the upgrades except the explore the area upgrade. That's basically what this is like. It's like when you have a bunch of towers, but you don't have the explore the area, so you still have vision. You can still see them coming. But you don't. You're still blind in certain spots. And again, line bulwarks, amazing to have. Slingers, you always want slingers when fighting early. Always make slingers. Warriors should only be used for hit and run attacks, and also raiding. Warriors should be used for raiding, hit and runs. Well, that's basically what a raid is, kind of, unless you just don't want to pull them back. And macemen should be your siege breakers. So eventually, I would have used macemen against Bray, if I just couldn't break through his front lines. But luckily, I was able to flank him with raiding warriors. So yeah, I hope you all learned something about how to fight in primitive. Again, always expand, constantly expand, non-stop. That's what you have to do always, is just to constantly expand. Constantly make sure your population is capped out with soldiers, and make lots of bulwarks and housing. And again, you want to be like I said before, you want to be semi-nomadic. So basically, there should be villages, kind of like think of every warehouse and like area. Think of every outpost, as a separate village, essentially. Yeah. It is a separate village which pays tribute to the main village, and the main village gives you takes out all the other tribes, so that way you can get food for your family by hunting in the tribes areas. So yeah. And actually, there's still lots of food. You will have to rely on deer a lot, but there's still lots of food on the map you can use, like dead mammoths, cows that are just out and about. I'm pretty sure there's a few cows probably still alive somewhere. Probably not. I don't know. Probably not. Anyways, I'm sure there's a few cows out there. Oh yeah, here's some cows. Cows especially too, good food. Deers, good food. Boars, good food. And if you want to explore the coastline for fishes, for like little fishies, let's see, there's fishies and then there's gators protecting them. Again, there's more food. And unfortunately, water maps are horrible to fight in primitive. So make sure you have like a lot of land and not water. Make sure like water in this situation was good because it was kind of like more of like a lake rather than like an ocean. So yeah. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, and I'll see you all next time.